Jai Hind everyone. Myself Dublish. Today, my assistant professor in AKG Akgec Engineering College, Ghaziabad, in MC department. Today, my topic of lecture is programming the Arduino. This topic come under the category of subject of Internet of Things, and the subject code for this subject is KCA 043. So, what is Arduino? And Arduino platform boards Atomony. So basically, Arduino programs are written in the Arduino Integrated Development Environment that is known as IDE. So Arduino IDE is a special software running on a system that allows you to write sketches, synonyms for the program in Arduino language for different Arduino boards. So the Arduino programming language is based on a very simple hardware programming language called processing, which is similar to the C language. So after the sketch is written in the Arduino IDE, it should be uploaded on the Arduino board for execution. So the first step in the programming the Arduino board is downloading and installing the Arduino IDE. So the open source Arduino IDE runs on Windows, Mac OS and Linux. So download the Arduino software depending on your OS from the official website and follow the instructions to install. So now the topic arises is what is Arduino IDE. So the Arduino board is connected to a computer via USB, where it connects with the Arduino Development Environment IDE. So the user writes the Arduino code in the IDE, then upload it to the microcontroller, which executes the code interacting with inputs and outputs such as sensor, motors and lights. So both the beginners and the expert have access to a wealth of free resources and materials to support them. Users can look up information on a board to set up their board or ever how to code or Arduino. So the open source behind Arduino has made it particularly friendly to new and experienced user. Arduino code is written in C# with AR addition of C++ with AR addition of special method and functions. So which will mention later on C++ is a human readable programming language. And when you can create a sketch, the name given to the Arduino code file, it is processed and compiled to machine language. So the Arduino Integrated Development in IDE is the main text editing program used for Arduino programming. So it is where you will be typing up your code before uploading it to the board you want to program. Arduino code is referred to as sketches. So next is Arduino coding using emulator and using library. So Arduino serial plotter is another component of the Arduino IDE, which allows you to generate a real-time graph for your serial data. So the serial plotter makes it much easier for you to analyze your data through a visual display, and by this you are able to create graphs, negative value graphs, and conduct waveform analysis. Now one is what is code structure. So libraries in Arduino, much like other leading programming platform, there are built-in libraries that provide basic functionality. Besides, it is possible to import other libraries and expand the Arduino board capabilities and features. So these libraries are roughly divided into libraries that interact with a specific component or those that implement new functions. To import a new library, you need to go to Sketch and then import library. So beside at the top of your file, you need to use #include to include external libraries. So you can also create custom libraries to use in the isolated sketches. And the library structure is a library is a folder comprised of files with C++ or .cpp code files and C++ .h header files. So the .h file describes the structure of the library and declares all its variable and function, though the CPP file holds the function implementation. And the pin definitions: to use the Arduino pin, you need to define which pin is being used and its functionality. So a convenient way to define the used pin is by using #define pin name, pin number. So the functionality is either input or output and is defined by using the pin mode method in the setup function. So the pin mode is pin and its mode. So variables. So whenever you are using Arduino, you need to declare global variables and instances to be used later on. In a nutshell, a variable allows you to name and store a value to be used in the future. So for example, you would store data acquired from a sensor to use it later. To declare a variable, you simply define its type, name and its initial value. So it's worth mentioning that Declaring global variable is not an absolute necessity. So, however, you should declare your variables to make it easy to utilize your values further down the line. So, the instances are the software programming. A class is a collection of functions and variables that are kept together in one place. So, each class has a special function known as constructor, which is used to create an instance of the class. So, use the function of the class. We need to declare an instance for it. So, setup, every Arduino sketch must have a setup function. So, the function defines the initial state of the Arduino upon boot and runs only once. So, here we will define the following: the pin functionality using the pin mode function, the initial state of the pin, initialize classes, initialize variable, code logic, loop. So, the loop function is also a must for every Arduino sketch and execute once setup is complete. So, it is a main function and its name hints it run in a loop over and over again. So, the loop describes the main logic of your circuit. So, addition in Arduino. Arduino is far more than just a simple microcontroller with an expensive IDE and a vast array of hardware configuration. So, Arduino is truly a diverse platform. The variety of its libraries and its intuitive design makers makes it a favorite for the new user and experienced makers alike. So, there are the thousands of community resources to help you get started with both hardware and software. As you advance your skills, you may face problems that require debugging, which is a weak spot of the Arduino IDE. Luckily, there are several tools and methods to debug Arduino hardware and software. In the next article, we are going to look at how to debug Arduino and how to test Arduino code, as well as how to use simulators and demolators. So, Arduino has announced for few nano microcontroller based beers that will available for developers and makers in July. The new lineup is compatible with the original nano boards and includes the nano every 33 IoT and nano 33 3LE and nano 3LE senses. So, programming in the Arduino for IoT is the basics of Arduino programming. The structure of Arduino programming is very simple. So, the Arduino programming have minimum of 2 blocks. First one is preparation and execution. So, each block has a set of statement enclosed in curly braces. We have 2 statements. First one is void setup and then void loop. So, here setup is the preparation block and loop is an execution block. So, the setup function is the first to execute when the program is executed, and this function is called only once. So, the setup function is used to initialize the pin modes and start serial communication. So, this function has to be included even if there are no statements to execute. So, in void setup method, we have pin mode. In pin mode, we enter pin mode and outputs. It is used for set the pin number as output, and pin mode, pin number input means set the pin number as output. So, after the setup function is executed, the execution block runs next, and the execution block hosts statement like reading inputs, triggering output, and checking condition, etc. In the above example, loop function is a part of the execution block. As the name suggests, the loop function executes the set of statement and closes in curly braces repeatedly. So, we will cover void loop. In void loop, we will write a digital light. Pin number comma high means turn on the component connected to pin number, and delay 1000 millisecond means wait for 1 second, and turn off the low means turn off the component connected to pin number. So, Arduino always measures the time duration in a milliseconds. Therefore, whenever you mention the delay, keep it in millisecond. Next one is blinking the LED. So, in the process of experimenting with Arduino, writing the Arduino program is not only the important thing. Building the breadboard circuit is equally important. Let's take a look at how the breadboard circuit has to be built for both experiment. So, the component required basically Arduino UNO RS1 board 1, breadboard connector 3, LED 1 and IK resistor 1. Blinking LED means steps in building a breadboard connection means connect the Arduino to the Windows, Mac, Linux system via USB cable. In step 2, connect the 13 digital pin of Arduino is to the positive power rail of the breadboard and GND to negative. Step 3 means connect the positive power rail to the terminal skip strip via 1K OHM resistor, and step 4 means fix the LED to the ports below the resistor connection in the terminal strip, and close the circuit by connecting the cathode, the short code of the LED to the negative power strip of the breadboard. So this is the Arduino program for LED blink. Here I declare integer LED is equal to 13 means set the digital pin to which the LED is connected, and we have again write two functions, which first one is void setup and second one is void loop. In void setup function we will declare pin 13 as an output function, output pin, and in void loop function this function runs again and again. In digital write we set to turn on the LED, and in digital read we set the LED turn off, and we will show the delay for 1000. Thanks. That's enough for today's lecture.